And welcome back, YouTube. Yep, I got cut off. I ran out of space on Obamaphone 3 with its messed up screen. It's 4:05 a.m. Still Wednesday, May 17th, 2022. And I think I want to cut up here. You can tell they've had the sprinklers on, so I'm nervous about walking on this grass because it might be wet and slippery. They really need a connection between that path and this sidewalk here. That actually wasn't as bad as I'd anticipated it being, but there are times I've tried to walk across this and the grass has been wet and it's been pretty treacherous when I'm wearing my flats. So as I was saying when the last one, this video cut off, and I promised I'd talk more about homeless woman number 2. Whose name is Natalie, by the way. She gave me a phone number. I've texted it. She's texted it twice. She hasn't texted me back, but it's my understanding that, like, the phone numbers that a lot of homeless people have, and that at one point I had one as well when I wasn't homeless, but I was not doing well. I was not doing well. A lot of homeless people will get phone numbers through apps. Where you can make phone calls as voice over IP, or some of them you can just text. There's a bunch of different apps that do this if you're not familiar with it. I can't really recommend any. The one that I used, I wasn't too happy with. And I've since forfeited my phone number with it, and I don't care. Hardly anybody ever contacted me on that number anyway. But it, anyway, a lot of homeless people that don't have Obamaphone service, for whatever reason, will get their hands on an old smartphone or an old tablet, and they'll have a phone number through one of those kind of apps, but they're only able to utilize it when they're able to get on Wi-Fi. Now, I mentioned that, people that seem perplexed that people will be videos about homelessness, and you'll see people commenting saying, yeah, blah, 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 I'm homeless. And sometimes in fact, most times there'll be responses from other people in the comments going, oh, right, sure, you're homeless. How are you able to comment? And shit like that. And the reality is, it's 2023. Homeless people have had access to the internet for a long time. Before the modern era, the average homeless person's way of getting on the internet was computers in public libraries. As I've mentioned many times, after my divorce, I was homeless for quite a while. Between late 2002 through, I want to say late 2002 up until around 2005-ish. All right, that looks pretty sus. What's up? I might have an answer. What's up?
Are you trying to find some shit right now?
No.
No?
No. Not at all? No, I don't really do anything. I just walk a lot. Wow. And in case you didn't hear what she said, she's very cute, by the way. Holy crap. I could have played that one. Yeah, I know where to go. Well, let me hop in. I'll take you right to the guy. No, that's very attractive woman in the passenger seat of that car asked if I knew where to get any shit right now. It's the world we live in. Happy to say I'm still completely drug-free. In fact, I'm not even really drinking at all. I did have a small pitcher of... I did have a... boy, is this a cliche for 2020. This is a cliche for 2023. I did have a small pitcher of Bud Light at the gay bar last night. Thank you very much. It hasn't made me grown boobs. If it did, I'd be at home feeling up on them. Anyway, yeah, and that was honestly when I went in yesterday when I went into Newtown Saloon. It wasn't even about wanting to go to a gay bar. It's literally the only bar that's in that area. Like, so it was either gay bar or no bar. And I was walking and I was fucking thirsty. And I wanted a place where I could comfortably sit down and drink something versus grabbing something from the 7-Eleven and drinking outside like a fucking homeless person. So, yeah. And I was really hoping they would have their punch. They've got this amazing punch, but yeah, they didn't have any made, and they've got rid of the dispenser that they used to have. So that's a bummer. So there's a kind of sketchy person walking on the other side of the road talking to himself, and it just occurred to me that that's exactly what I'm doing. Although I don't think he's recording anything, and he's doing some really weird gesticulating. Anyway, I'm going to keep moving. Heading southbound on 48th Street. I was just south of McDowell when the attractive women pulled over in the rather nice car and asked if I knew where to get any shit. The perfect answer just came to me. I'm like, well, I got a cat box full of it. You can take me home. Oh, man. When I had my friend over, I should have really asked if he'd help me out with a ride to go get some fucking cat litter. It is definitely time to do the cat box again. Anyway. Sorry, I'm not making a whole lot of sense tonight. Started the last video a lot sooner than I anticipated because of all the chaos next door. And I hope I didn't just inject myself into it. There was a part of me that was honestly thinking about calling the cops, and I'm not really happy with the cops these days, and it didn't sound like there was any kind of violence going on. But yeah, it does. I always wonder when people stay in relationships like that. I've never been one for that. And like I said, for all the issues that Priscilla and I have had, that's never been one of them. That was never really a thing with my ex-wife. I could kind of go on a tangent about that. I don't think I want to go down that road tonight in my head. I've never really had a relationship that's like that. Yeah, no, I'm not that guy. Occasionally I do get upset and I'll yell, but like, if a woman angers me like that, like I generally end it right after that. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like I remember back to this girlfriend I had in the early 1990s. I think I met her at her 22nd birthday party. Memory serves. Her name was Amy, and she liked her. I liked her a lot. But I was kind of teetering on homelessness myself there, in spite of the fact that I had a house. That's complicated. Don't even want to get into that. And somehow I ended up in this position where I was living with her and I was her dependent boyfriend. I don't like being a dependent boyfriend. I've been a dependent boyfriend more than a couple of times. I worry I was close to becoming that with Priscilla. In fact, I kind of came I was borderline that with Priscilla, like, a year and a half ago. Yeah, I don't like that. Sometimes I say it'd be great to have a sugar mama, but yeah, I don't like being an independent boyfriend. I might feel different about it if I had like a sugar mama that was just like sick, filthy rich. But yeah, Amy was a 22-year-old single mom massage therapist that probably, no one probably about it. She gave happy endings. And yeah, it was one of those kind of massage parlors. And I totally didn't even understand that until after we had split up because I was so fucking naive. But yeah, she kind of felt like her pet, and it's not like, you know, it'd be one thing if the woman was rolling in dough, but she was never hurting for money, but she was by no means rolling in dough. And I forget where the hell I was going with this with Amy. Oh yeah, so anyway, I pulled myself out of that by becoming a cab driver. I'm pretty sure I've told this story on this vlog before. Yeah, I pulled myself out of that by becoming a cab driver and did well as a cab driver. And I was so on my mind, on my grind and determined to A, remove myself from that situation, and B, that I was just driving. I wasn't driving 24/7, but I was like driving or napping in my car. Like I just was keeping the cab 24/7. If I wasn't working, I was taking a nap in the car. I did have a couple times I went to her place and took a quick nap and then turned around and bailed. And being the tip, and again, I was so naive, I didn't even get what was going on then. So many life experiences. Like if I knew when I was going through them what I know now, it'd be different. But I just didn't understand just how fucking insecure women are about men. But she was assuming, since I went from being at her side all the time, like her pet, because I kind of functionally was, to, because I didn't have a job or anything, you know, or anywhere else to go, to being always at work and hardly ever near her because I suddenly had a decent way of making money. I suddenly, what was going on in her head, which I didn't understand was going on in her head, she assumed that I had met another woman and I was involved with another woman. Yeah. Yeah, the other woman in my life was yellow cab number 638. Full stop. But anyway, and that bitch took good care of me. In some ways better than Amy did. Anyway, when I finally met back up with Amy, oh wow, it's a Tides that still says the Tides. I'm noticing a bunch of these apartment complexes that were bought up by the corporation that labels them as the Tides have been changing names. This one's still the Tides. Anyway, the address, 1010 North 48th Street. Which means we're just about at 48th Street and just about at 48th Street in Roosevelt. Better get to the point of this video, huh? I met another homeless woman last night. I actually spent quite a bit of time with her, and it was pretty fucking cool. Walking by her little shelter tent made out of blankets and shopping carts and junk, and was walking by. I heard a female voice say, "Hey, you're kind of cute," or something like that. "Hey, who's that good-looking man?" Something like that. I don't know. I don't get those kind of compliments. Women don't say nice things to me. They really don't. You know, I see YouTube videos and internet things where women are like, "Oh, it's so awful getting catcalled." No idea how much most men would love to get catcalled. You know, "Oh, you..." God, dear, a compliment from a random woman every now and then is just amazing because it just doesn't happen. Anyway, I wasn't recording at the time, so I just barely finished recording. I'd run out of space on Obamaphone 3, and Obamaphone 4 was all filled up, and I popped in. I probably hung out there for over an hour. She gave me a bag full of clothes. Guy that was hanging out with her who bailed shortly after I got there. He wonder if I can get in this way. Nope. Yep. He I'm just finding so many of these gates that are open along 202. One I went down yesterday was pretty awesome. It was on the other side of the 202, on the other side of 48th Street. Anyway, I didn't get to the point with Amy, did I? So, anyway, at one point, I was driving Yellow Cab 638, and I was trying to get near her place. So I was working, but I was trying to get near her place so I could at least maybe stop and have lunch with her and let her know about how, like, hey, sorry I haven't been around, but God, I'm just doing great as at this cab driver thing, and maybe try to make some plans for the weekend, like to take some time off and spend some time with her, and kind of touch base, because we haven't been touch base. And mind you, this is before cell phones. So, I mean, I've been, like I'm gone, I'm out of touch. Anyway, I'm kind of trying to get in that area, but I keep getting calls, so I'm not getting there. And of course, I mean, every time I can take a call, I'm taking a call because that's more money, and I need money, and I'm coming from a bad place financially, really bad place financially at that time. And she's anyway. I'm not far from her place. I take another call, and it's her address for Amy. And I even commented to dispatch. And at that point, I'd only been with Yellow Cab for maybe a week, maybe not even a full week. But I guess I had shown enough personality and gumption on the radio that certainly dispatchers were reacting to me in a very familiar way. Not like just some random new driver, just some random number on the radio. And I understand Yellow Cab was huge then. And so sometimes I'd comment a little bit more than just the super brevity that's supposed to be used. And I had said, it's like, oh, that's my girlfriend. That's interesting. And he's like, oh, are you in trouble? I said, maybe. I haven't been home in a bit. I said, you know how much I've been working, man? And he's like, oh, good luck with that. And good luck indeed. She was wanting to go out to the bar. I was wanting to go to the library bar, which hasn't existed for years, but used to be on Windrose between 33rd Avenue and I-17. It was a great bar back in the day. That was actually a nice part of town at that time. I want to clarify that. Yeah, we went to, I drove her there, and I drove her there and went with her, and then, but I went ahead and I didn't run the meter or anything. And of course she was being like really short with me, and I guess, and looking back, like I didn't really know what autism spectrum disorder was then. I didn't realize why sometimes I had so much trouble understanding people. I mean, I think part of it was naivety, but I mean, part of it's just these issues I always kind of have these days. But, well, always, I mean, this has been a constant thing in my life. It's just now I kind of understand more of the source of it. But anyway, she asked me, anyway, she was really shitty with me, and I thought she'd be glad to see me because I was glad to see her. So I didn't understand why she was so bitter with me. Didn't understand it. And she so I didn't run the meter, and she's like, and then of course she was accusing me of stalking her. I'm like, no, I was kind of trying to try to get her to talk to you because I've been so busy working, and I just happened to, but yeah, she accused me of taking the call, trying to take it away, like, or stalking her or whatever, and I wasn't, and, it's such a shit thing, and anyway, long story short, because I don't want to talk about Amy, I want to talk about Natalie. Anyway, I get to, drainage canal disappearing right underneath me. I don't know, y'all can see that. This thing seems terrible in low light. I've never been in here. This is neat. I'm exploring parts of Phoenix I've never been to before that I've only looked at in aerial views. Now, that gate is closed. Kind of surprised to see a gate here. And I wonder if that's like City of Phoenix on the other side and ADOT where I'm standing, or if it's maybe SRP on that side, and it's definitely 8 up where I'm standing. Oh, well, the homeless people make desire paths that make it possible to go through these places. Nice big cut in the chain link, so I'm here. This is neat. I've wanted to walk through here for ages. I'm pretty sure that this canal here is the old Crosscut Canal, which, yeah, this is definitely the old Crosscut Canal, which is what's underneath the park that's in the greenbelt that I walk by all the time in my place. And, well, it's got water in it too. Wow, this is a part of the old Crosscut Canal I've always wanted to come near and never been able to get near. Wow, and I can see, sure you can't see it in the video, but I can see evidence where there's been fires alongside the retaining wall there. So, old Crosscut Canal going north where I'm at, and I'm pretty much at the physical intersection of the 143 and the Loop 202. And this video is probably catching nothing. But yeah, there's like a nearly 90 degree bend in the giant sound wall there, where it goes from being the sound wall of the 202 to the sound wall of the 143. And if you're coming from the westbound Loop 202, there are no exits for the 143, so that's why there's no ramps or anything here. That's how you get that just wall, where there's freeway on one side, one freeway on the other side, and a 90 degree bend. Oh yeah, there's definitely been some fires here. I'll put some light on it so y'all can see it. So anyway, long story short, because I really didn't set off to be talking about Amy, but just thinking about what went on with my neighbors and just how I don't perpetuate relationships with shouting and arguing. Anyway, I went into the bar with her and she was like super shitty with me, and I'm trying to be happy, and she like basically wasn't yelling because we're in a bar and that wouldn't have fly, but she was just telling me, and how, and was making all these accusations against me about how she thought I was cheating and how she thought I was, stalking her and blah, 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 and was shitty. And the Amy that I had been with prior to that had always just been sweet, but I'd been functionally her pet. And she just basically, after being like that, I was just like, I'm like, well, if you don't want me here, I'll leave. And she didn't really say anything. You see it now? No, probably no. No, because it takes more light than that to make this phone work. Anyway, evidence of 2 big fires. Not like it's going to damage the sound walls, but it just looks pretty sketchy. But fortunately, I can't get enough light on the subject to this piece of shit phone to give me usable video of it. I should really do this kind of shit during the day, but I'll tell you what, it is too goddamn hot in the day right now for me to be doing these kind of adventures. And my phones would probably be overheating and dysfunctioning as a result of it. All right, there's the end of the sound wall. So now at least you can see some of the freeway ramps and shit. That one up above where the lights are, and of course this thing shoots terrible video, so you can hardly really see it. That's the one that I'm often taking when I'm driving home from work and going from the Loop 202 eastbound to the 143 north on up to McDowell. It's the McDowell exit ramp, which it doesn't say 143, but it's functionally 143. Yeah, that's a big flyover ramp that I take right there. This is really cool being here. Wow. This is some great graffiti, and I'm sure that this, yeah, I can't see it really in my viewfinder. Somebody made giant lettering that says "Talk About Fresh." It's like 3D. Cool ass graffiti lettering. I need to come out in the daytime and take a picture of that. That's pretty awesome. That's almost as cool as the giant mural I saw in a similar place in Portland that said "nerd." The difference between that similar place in Portland is that in these easements in Portland had added multi-use paths for bicycles and pedestrians and PEVs, and I really think that these are that's what these spaces, like what I'm walking in, should be used for. But obviously the homeless people have turned it into sort of a little transportation and transportation network and campground, although I haven't encountered any homeless people since I got off 48th Street. Another one there, mural says Rust. Another one says Focus, spelled F-O-K-U-S. So yeah, Amy was like that, and I was just like, so I went out to my taxi, and I never went back. I left a few things at her place. I never went back. I never talked to her again. I didn't run into her until many, many years later. And she cried and told we did spend the night. We did get intimate that night. That was pretty awesome. And I was all about kind of getting back with her. And she told me that she couldn't because I absolutely just emotionally crushed her when I did that. Yeah, ghosting wasn't even a word back then. But I guess that's functionally what I did to her. But yeah, I didn't say I wasn't coming back or anything. I just said she wanted me to leave, so I left. I actually left many women like that in similar ways over the years. Now, some I didn't mean to not come back to, but those are other stories. But probably has a lot to do with why I'm so alone now. Anyway, man, I wasn't going to be talking about Amy. I just got sidetracked talking about Amy. I was going to talk about Natalie. So, anyway, Natalie invited me into her little shelter, and gave me a bag of clothes. The guy that was there asked if I had a couple of dollars, and then she kind of like punched me. Says, "That's not even cool to ask that." I just punched him like that was rude. That's inappropriate. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have any cash." Said, so I can help you out with something though. And I gave each of them a unused day pass for Valley Metro, and then we kind of exchanged some tips on, how to make the most out of it. And I would tell you, man, those Valley Metro day passes are like gold when you're homeless on the streets of Phoenix. Even though they're only worth $2. Anyway, he bounced. I was thinking her and him were like a couple. They looked like they'd be a couple. He bounced, and Natalie hung out, and had a pretty good time. They're asking me to adopt her. And then I'm thinking, well, fuck, I functionally already adopted an old homeless hooker. So she thinks she knows who that woman is, too. Anyway, I haven't seen her. The older woman, she called herself Roxy. I haven't seen her since. So it was Monday afternoon. My friend and I dropped her off at Home Inc. Went back to Home Inc. She was already gone. I gave her very explicit directions on how to get back to my place from there via bus. As far as she showed me she had a bus pass, and I told her, look, you need to get to that bus stop, take the Route 1 to get to 44th Street, then get off, and then go north on Route 44 to Oak Street. And just gave her very... maybe I should have wrote down the exact address for her. I didn't do that. And I was feeling really kind of guilty about that yesterday, that fuck, maybe I didn't give her enough. But now I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, she's decided that that being there is worse than being homeless, and it's just chosen not to come back, and has decided to just take the bag of clothes, to just write off the bag of clothes that's sitting on my and the other clothes that are sitting on my couch as a loss. I don't think there's any particularly nice clothes there. I think she had some other clothes in her bag. I really think she put everything that was of value in the other bag that she was carrying with her. Like she said, it was just her paperwork, but I think she put everything else. Oh wow, look at that. Some chain link pulled down, so the homeless peeps have been popping to get over to those easements there. There are definitely some tents that I've seen. It's hard to really see those tents that pop up in those areas over there, because the homeless people will hide them low in the trees, and people that are driving by on the freeway are just moving so fast that they're not looking. because they're driving, they're looking forward. It's easy to not see the reality of the streets when you are driving. Just saying. So, anyway, I mean, there's a possibility that the old hooker couldn't find my place, but I don't know. I figured by now she'd have straggled over there, and I was kind of looking for her the whole time I was wandering around last night. I never found her, and granted, I'm not exactly walking in areas where I'm expecting to find her. I'm walking in areas where I'm expecting to find Natalie, and I think I already saw her. I just walked in a different direction so as not to create a YouTube video that leads everybody directly to her. But I think I'm going to go back there. She gave me some really good companionship. I'm not just dragging her back to my apartment right now, though. I need to really vet this woman, because the last thing I need is a whole bunch of random homeless people randomly trying to break into my place and get shit, or showing up at my door at weird hours knocking on it. I don't want that. But Natalie definitely struck me as somebody I could definitely vibe with. So yeah, I think I'm gonna head there. Yeah, gave her and Dude bus passes. He bounced, and I it wasn't like I'm being stingy. I literally don't have any cash on me at all. I got some change in my pocket. Haven't been to the bank to pull any money out of the ATM. I did find my missing ATM card. I'm not sure if I mentioned I'd been missing my one ATM card. I did find it, and I never technically lost it. It was just in the wrong pocket, and when I looked through that pocket, I didn't see it. I'm the kind of guy that makes those kind of mistakes. But dang, not as much of a path up here. I get the feeling not too many people walk this direction. Probably because I'm pretty visible right now. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I would love a run-in with police right now. It's always fun. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like, I guess the guy that was there had come by to give her a bag of clothes that he found somewhere. I didn't really get any detail of the source for that, but there are resources available for homeless people, and it's not hard to get a bag of donated clothes. And she was trying to give me some. I had to just tell her to stop. It's like, look, I'm really okay on the clothes front. So, but yeah, like two-thirds of my wardrobe right now is stuck in my car that I don't have. So yeah, I could definitely use a few more shirts. She gave me a nice pair of sweatshorts. So pretty happy about those. And this striped shirt I'm wearing, it's not really my style, but I felt like it looked pretty good on me. It's comfortable, feels good. So that means a lot. At my age, I'm more about feeling good than looking good. I didn't realize so much water flowed through the old Crosscut Canal. I'll be honest, that's quite unexpected to me. I mean, that canal runs right by my place, but it's underground. It's been underground for many years. Wishing I'd worn some shoes. There's weeds and stuff, and they're kind of hitting my ankles and my feet, and it's not good. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. She was just so giving, wanted to give me more. I mean, I took as little as I could. In fact, there was one pair of shorts that she gave me, like these soccer shorts with a team logo, and of course I don't know shit about soccer, so I don't know if it's a popular team or not. But I'm like, yeah, those are cool. So those are definitely cool, but I'm not into soccer at all. I'm not really into sports at all. She's like, well, she's like, yeah, but those are nice. I mean, those are nice. You should take them. I'm like, I said, I could see me selling. If I got something like that, like, I'd just sell it on eBay anyway. I said, because it's really weird. I said, with sports stuff like that, it's either worth a lot of money or it's worth not. It's either worth the money or it's worth nothing. So if it's worth money, I get some eBay for it, and if it's not, I just donate the shit. She's like, well, go for it. Get that money. And I thought that was just wild that somebody is like so down and out to the point that she's living in a basically a blanket fort made out of shopping carts would want me to take a pair of shorts on eBay. Anyway, Anyway, at this point, I'm just gonna kind of proceed in my mind that the old hooker is not coming back to my place, and just take that as a learning experience, and that all the things that she promised that she would help me with were just more than she could give, and that being around being around all me, which is not a very pleasant thing most of the time, was more than she could deal with, and that I don't know, probably found some better options, or had some better options. Apparently, she's got 5 kids, I think, so adult children. Says she's probably in her late 60s, probably middle-aged adult children. She's got a. She said she was staying with her son, although she said there were some real issues with her son, and her daughter did call her on Mother's Day. So apparently she has a daughter. I don't know if the daughter's in the valley or not, but at any rate, I'm guessing the old hoe's got some other options, and that's fine. The little bit of time we spent together was good. There was a day she fed me with stuff that I had. Granted, she left a mess behind, but I'm a lot more motivated to clean my kitchen now than I've been in a long time, so that's a good thing. Hey, look at that, the bus is already running. There goes the route, what's the route 16 down McDowell Road. So you watch my vlog at all, that should be a pretty darn familiar intersection right there. Kind of a different perspective of it. So yeah, that's the end of the route of the 143 freeway in McDowell. And right here is where the old Crosscut Canal goes underground as it goes underneath McDowell Road. 4:42 a.m. Yeah, of course the bus is running. The sun's almost coming up. Yeah, I think the McDowell bus starts at about 4 a.m. And I'm on the wrong side of a gate. I don't know if I can get out of here. Oh, no, of course I can. The Homeless Person Desire Path network of trails does a good job of making up for the pedestrian infrastructure that the city of Phoenix and ADOT has been neglecting to put in place. Yeah, it's a pretty good network of trails. Starting to really like it and enjoy it. Wonder if there's an opening on this side. Oh, there's the no trespassing sign. If I enter this way, I can't say I didn't see the sign. I'm gonna fight the case on the shopping cart. I'm definitely going to fight the case against where the security guard for Costco is pressing charges on me. I honestly feel that my throwing rocks my throwing rocks back at him was justified self-defense. I figure I've got a self-defense defense, and probably also a mental health defense. So mostly a self-defense, and then I think I can show that what he did was completely irrational and violated my rights and overstepped his authority. So, but yeah, I have the vlog. I forget what vlog number it is, but I have the video where I'm walking from my place to the scooter, and I've reviewed that video thoroughly, and I have not deleted that one off the phone yet, like I typically do. And it clearly shows where the scooters are sitting. Clearly shows me walking up and voicing my intentions to rent a scooter, and it clearly shows that there were no signs saying that I could not be there. And even if there were signs, I mean, the onus is on them to also put up a fence. So yeah, I feel like I'm ready to take that on. Natalie had some other advice as to how I should handle that, and something statutory attorney or statutory something, I don't know. It just struck me as bad advice, or premature advice anyway. But yeah, she thought I should be going toward that I should be addressing it via Costco. But I think I don't. A lot of people don't understand the difference between civil court and criminal court, and my charges that I'm dealing with from getting cuffed the other day by Phoenix PD. Those are criminal charges, and I've experienced this before. Just because like Costco could want to drop it. Costco could want to drop it. Like I could contact Costco and Costco could realize, oh shit, this is a legal can of worms for us, and I may do that. Oh my God, what we did to him was we treated an executive member in a horrible way. Holy shit, whoops. And they could want to stop it, but the reality is at this point they can't. They've started a chain of events that is detached from them at this point. And while honestly I haven't even looked over the complaint that much to see who is listed as the victim, but I'm going to assume it's the security guard or maybe Costco calling themselves the victim, possibly another employee. The cop did say, well, your rocks hit somebody else. Well, kind of on them. I mean, you know, when I walk through a cloud of fentanyl smoke, those people's fentanyl smoke is hitting somebody else, but I don't see the cops doing anything about it. And those people aren't acting in self-defense. I was. So I would say, you know, if they got hit with rocks, and they should consider who the aggressor was in that situation, who antagonized and created that situation. And it wasn't me; it was the security guard who threatened me with pepper spray. So maybe they should be pressing charges against him, not me. But you know, of course, that guy's a security guard, and he's got a little badge, and so he's the good guy. And I'm a man with long hair, so I'm the bad guy. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, he. I think I'll be all right with that, but anyway, I don't think she understands that the way it works in Arizona. I think it works in most places is that if once charges are pressed, it doesn't matter. Now the victim can not want to participate, but the city and the prosecuting attorney, the state of Arizona, is still going to try and get a conviction because that's what they do. They're still going to try and get me to sign a plea bargain because that's what they do. That's the whole reason I'm a convicted felon. The so-called victim in my felony case from back in 1996 did not participate with the prosecution whatsoever. Now, the prosecution never told my attorney this. The prosecution never dropped the case. The prosecution kept on it. And I was in jail and kept in jail for a long, long time. What? Thought they were talking to me. That guy's kind of in the crosswalk, but not bad enough I feel the need to yell at him. Anyway, so that's what happened in my felony. That's had me having the most of my adult life being discriminated against as a convicted felon the most of my adult life. The victim didn't want to. The victim did not want to press charges. Never did. I mean, the victim was a minor, so that's part of the problem. But it's my understanding that the parents were never contacted. The charges were done by the police without any contact of this minor's parents, which of course begs the question: well, did this minor's parents even know where he was? Once the minor's parents were contacted, they had no desire to follow through with it at all. Which it seems to me that they should have dropped the. It seems to me that they should have dropped the free big gold drape when you purchase a chicken sandwich for $2.99. That's a good deal. It would seem to me that they should have. They finally fixed the flashing light over here, by the way. after years of it strobing. It seems to me that they should have, like, as soon as they weren't participating, that they should have just simply dropped the charges and released me. But that's not how the legal system works, not in Arizona. So regardless of what happens between me and Costco, this is a small misdemeanor. The city's going to try to get their money. They're looking at me as a source of money right now. Because, as I pointed out to the cops, hey, I'm a resident and a taxpayer. That's why they don't arrest the homeless people for smoking fentanyl. Those people aren't residents and they're not taxpayers. They don't have any money. If they fine me, I'm probably going to pay the fine. If they put me on probation, I'm probably going to pay the probation fees. Whereas if they arrest the people that are smoking fentanyl at the bus stops, those people are just getting free housing for a while. Yeah, I see right through the system. There's somebody very, very angry at, oh, what are they doing to that shopping cart? Oh, they're turning the shopping cart into a seat. Okay. So, yeah, that's the situation with that. Of course they're coming after me. I'm a source of income to the city of Phoenix. That's all I'm looked at. And nothing that I do with Costco is going to change that. Yeah, I intend to fully take it to trial, and I don't expect that the other people that are involved are going to want to go through all that hassle. That's typically how it works. If every single person who got brought up on charges, I mean, I want to preface this by saying the system's already fucking broke anyway. But if every single person, criminal defendant, brought up on charges, insisted on a trial, or took it a step further and insisted on a jury trial, I might be entitled to one of those as well. If every single one did that, the system would absolutely fall apart. Our government doesn't have the resources for it. And most of the people that are involved have, it's real easy to say, oh yeah, I want to press charges, that guy was a dick, yeah, I'm going to press charges. But, whoa, you mean actually have to go to court and attend a deposition and comply with subpoenas? Yeah, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna fully fight my defense. This is my adventure right now. It is. So, all right, I need to wrap this up. I've wasted 47 minutes, and I need to get over to Natalie before she packs up camp, because it's approaching the time where she says she packs up camp, because she says some security people roll through and they'll try to roll her out of there. So I was trying to remember exactly how the old Crosscut Canal went, and I was thinking there was a little segment of it north of McDowell, and there is, and it's got these spiky fences around it, unlike the piece I was by earlier. Because this is, of course, inside a park as opposed to in a fenced-off area that nobody's supposed to be in. And at least this particular piece of it has been turned into some nice pedestrian infrastructure, even if the city of Phoenix can't figure out how to water the adjacent grass without flooding the trail. At least there was an effort. But I would just love to see a trail network like this in every place where it's feasible. Like all along these places I've been walking, adjacent to the freeways and adjacent to the canals. They're not as loud. Honestly, they're not as loud as walking along Stroads, most of them, even though I'm right adjacent to big, busy freeways, because I'm on the other side of a sound wall, or I'm down below a retaining wall. The freeway's above me. I'm surprised how a lot more peaceful on that walk than it is here just standing by McDowell Road. And I still think it's nonsensical that this path comes right here to the sidewalk and just ends. Like, this is where the nice bike route just dumps you off on a sidewalk that you're not even supposed to be walking on. Nice scooter, man. Look at a Xiaomi M365. They just went flying by on that. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on this walk. I'm going to go get some food at 7-Eleven and surprise Natalie with some breakfast. See where this goes. I didn't do anything yesterday. I mean, after trying to work on the scooter with my friend and not having success with that because we couldn't get that screw undone and didn't have a drill, and then of course the drama with the neighbor woman came out crying. She's in tears. She's gorgeous, by the way. Came out in tears, crying and got in that Lincoln Town car and drove off. Got in that Lincoln Town car and drove off. Got in the Lincoln Town car and she drove off, and she drove off in a hurry and left. And part of me wanted to say something, and it just felt like the best thing was to just kind of keep my head down and not get involved. Even Corey had commented that you should, it's like, hey, you could be her rebound dude. I'm like, yeah. when I'm some chick's rebound dude, it's kind of in my best interest for that guy to be somebody who doesn't know me or know where I live, as opposed to say, oh, I don't know, my next door neighbor. Oh, it smells like piss over here. Yikes. So anyway, wow, that's it. I got a mop stick left here. That's handy. Oh, hey, in this video with some interesting development here in my neighborhood. There used to be an Amazon locker here, or maybe it was a UPS locker. I'm not sure if it was Amazon or UPS. I'm sure if you look through some of my videos, you can find some where I've included it here. And I recall the last time I went by here and I mentioned it, noting that a couple of the doors had been pried open. Anyway, whether it was UPS or whether it was Amazon, whoever it was has decided that this location is not secure enough for them to have that unit here, and they've removed it. Now here you can see the additional electrical that was put in place to power it, specifically like the conduit and the meter and everything, specifically built, purpose-built for the locker, and the cement platform that was laid for the locker, but the locker is gone. So not quite as extreme as, say, all the Walmarts pulling out of Portland, but yeah, vandalism and theft does have reactions, and that's one of them. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on the walk, and I hope you make some sense out of my ramblings. I've been adding the hashtag autism speech and autism speech patterns. I've watched some very interesting videos, and maybe I'll remember to link them to the description here, talking about from some very autism focused YouTube channels, which this channel is not. I mean, I'm a little crazy and a little autistic, but like that's not at all the focus of this channel. But it seems like most everybody else that is like that is the focus of their channel. I'm an autistic channel doing a channel about I'm an autistic person doing a channel about autism. It's kind of becoming a YouTube cliche. By the way, shout out to Aaron's Journal. His channel is about, so what's the police doing now? Whoop, 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 motherfucker. Pull over. God, part of me wants to follow that and film it, but nah. Santa's coming up. It's time to get Natalie some breakfast. See if this is going to be a thing today. Oh, anyway, so I've not hit not one but two videos from popular channels from people with ASD doing channels where the focus is about autism, and as an example of what autistic speech patterns are like, they've done unedited videos where instead of editing their speech and their video, they've just done it in one take in the way like all my videos are. And it was very eye-opening because like, oh, holy shit, y'all resulted in something that sounds like one of my videos. So on that note, yeah, that's what that's about. I'll try to include a couple of links to that in the description. There goes the route 17 westbound, which I could right now take it to Amazon, maybe try to talk to Day Shift HR. I don't know what I'm doing with Amazon. I think I'm going to try to call their resources for living number, although I've got so much anxiety about making phone calls. I really wanted to go to work Saturday night, but the whole situation with the old hooker that was at my place that had pretty much from the